Follow your mic, Steve. Under the 42s. We're good. Okay. All right. Good evening. Today is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. The time is now 7:05 p.m. and the Town of Wiggins Board of Trustees work session is now in session. All right. First up on the agenda is discussion of GoCo grant. You can sit down for now, Steve. No, not for a work session. Are you talking about the GoCo grant?
I don't have the resolution printed or put together, but can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So to proceed forward with the GoCo grants, GoCo tends to like to see that we are willing to put funds up front towards that grant. I'm looking to ask for $2 million for the GoCo grants to basically improve the area behind Doug's house, in front of Kiowa Park, that whole area with 4 baseball fields, 3 soccer fields, and a multi-purpose room or field, a concession stand, bathroom, and storage shelter, along with upgrading the front walking path with trees, and basically improving that entire area there. So I was thinking of putting up 20% of that 2 million, which would be $400,000. I don't know what the budget looks like for 2026, but essentially, looking for that board support, and or hopefully approval that we could put up 20% towards that grant. A couple other things that they want to start seeing as well is that we're putting the effort into improving that land. So starting to get that land prepped, flattened out, ready to go. I've already gotten or started to get bids. I got one bid coming in from Brad Yoder for landscaping over there. And we have a couple other ones for buildings and whatnot. So I can get those compiled together and present to you guys as well. But essentially the resolution would be board support in favor of moving towards getting that grant, which I need to submit by January 15th.
By when?
January 15th is when they want the concept to do, and that's when I have to turn in all my letters of support that I've been asking for.
Do they require the 20 or is that just a number you came up with?
They don't have a specific number, but I feel like 20% would be a good show of effort. I mean, we could lower it down to 10 or 15%.
I was just curious as to what they required.
Nothing.
So they don't require anything, but
Mhm.
it benefits us to show,
Oh, yeah.
especially with GoCo,
Yes, because it's a competitive grant.
like they want you to front money for it.
No, and that's fine. I was just curious to know if there was a requirement for it. You know, if there was, then what percentage was that? It's just,
And when I asked Alex, who is our GoCo representative for the Northeast area, she said there's no no nominal amount. They just want to show that the community is interested and prepared to move forward with
they
it.
want a vested interest from whoever the party is. Yeah. I get it.
Exactly.
Where'd you get the 2 million figure at?
That's the max we can ask for.
Okay.
We can ask more if we were going for like a land grant. So they do land acquisitions and we can ask for up to 5 million for that one. But for the specific thing that we're looking to approve, the max they'll do is 2 million.
Do we know on our side what that 2 million is going to get us? Is it going to get us everything you're listing or, yeah,
It'll get a good chunk of it.
what's a good chunk?
I'd say probably at least 2 baseball fields and some improvements.
I probably want to see exactly what we're going to get, obviously, for sure.
Yes.
I think it'll get more than 2 baseball fields.
Think, would hope.
I need to see what the quotes come in. I need to see what Brad
Yeah.
Yoder is gonna come in with all the landscaping, because that's gonna be the biggest expense that we have.
Because Fort Morgan got a GoCo grant for 400,000 last year. And they did fields around the rec center,
Yeah,
whatever that place is called.
and they got quite a few fields out of that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if not all of it, a good chunk of it at least.
I'd be curious to see what that looks like.
Yes, once I get all of the quotes together, I can present a little bit more information.
Yeah.
Just 100% would need at least the board's backing and support in writing that I can submit with the grant concept.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's something with any grant, you got to have support, obviously, or else
Well, yeah, you got to have some skin in the game on
They
the
don't
deal. Yeah, and I get that.
even think to look at you. So,
Yeah.
And to be honest, I chose to upgrade that area because it is very visible. You have housing going in down in the farm. You have most of your traffic coming down P both ways, going down Main Street. That would be the best area to show like, hey, we have something in town.
We've already got some loose plans, I think, that we had.
no, I gave her all the plans.
Did you? Okay, yeah.
Plans I'm going,
Yeah.
That's the ones we're submitting.
Yeah, no,
or she's
that's good.
submitting.
No, that makes sense.
just not developing the side by the park.
Right.
Starting with Doug's side.
Yeah, no, on the east side of Johnson, yeah.
And then over the course of a couple of years, we'll start over on the east side of it or
Yeah.
the west side.
Yeah.
Because that is ideally if eventually we get to a point of a rec center where the rec center would go.
Mhm.
When's that due again? January 15th?
15th, yeah.
So our next meeting is on the 14th of that.
Of January
Mm-hmm. So we would approve the
resolution.
resolution at that point.
Yeah, and then I could submit it that day to Alex.
Our sales tax capital improvement fund has 285,000 in equity.
I think that's what, 10%?
A little bit more. But if we would said 200,000 for not burning all of that,
Yeah.
that would be 10%.
Yeah. I think as long as we're showing initiative, because again, Coco, it's a very competitive grant. You've got several areas asking for that grant. So as long as we have something and that we've already started moving forward with those projects, I think we would be okay.
Okay, so that would be a board decision if you're comfortable with that.
I would just have to know before then so that we could put it into the resolution. Because looking back at the last GoCo grant we got in 2013.
13.
Yeah, that they had that included in their grant when they got approved for it.
Yeah, at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, really would like to start developing that area so that we have something as new residents or potential residents start coming in, they see like, oh, we have a great sports complex essentially. I know sports isn't everything, but it is a start.
Well, and I think we've seen a lot of growth in just our youth sports.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
median, the average age in Wiggins is 35. So that tells you there's a lot of kids here.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I think your kindergarten class is like 92 kids.
Yeah. Yep.
And those are your T-ball kids and
Yeah.
they'll start moving up. And that's just with baseball. I mean, soccer in the spring, I think we saw 123 kids for like little kids for soccer.
Yeah.
That didn't include my older kids.
Yeah. No, I would be interested to see what the quotes come back at. And then go from there.
Okay.
Cause I think we could strategize how we lay some of that out and what we choose to go with first.
Mhm.
And whether it's, you know, a multi-purpose in a baseball field and then the bathrooms, and then progress down the road with that. Because we do have the ball fields at Teats that we can still use.
Yeah.
Obviously those aren't going anywhere. Yeah, and then go from there.
Yes, but
As a multi-purpose field is not going to cost that much.
no,
Mhm.
that's honestly something that we could do on our own with grass seed, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But if we brought in more baseball fields, we have more potential for revenue. I can host tournaments. I can bring in other towns. I can do more additional adults softball games. You know, there's more potential to bring in additional revenue through
Yeah.
my department with
Yeah.
adding additional fields rather than sticking with the 2.5 that we have.
yeah.
Do we have pretty good turnout and, I mean, interest in like adult softball, things like that?
Yeah,
I
it keeps
had
growing.
6 teams this year.
Okay.
A couple teams did not formulate because a couple of the partners were pregnant. So you cannot play. I'm also going to start targeting some of the 16, 17, 18-year-olds through the school district to see if I can get them to formulate a team. Because you have to be 16, 17 with adult consent to play the adult softball co-ed. So I'm gonna start targeting and trying to get them to come play with us too.
Makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of it is marketing strategy. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, more fields, the better. The more things I can host and do and bring money in with.
Yeah, once you get those quotes, let us know.
Yeah,
I'd be interested to see what those come back at.
I'll have Brad Yoder's early next week, he said. I sent him over the plans of what we're looking for as far as grass goes.
Because I know the ball or the high school paid $1 million for that, but we don't need something that extravagant.
No. No, but there's also other quotes that I can go for grants I can go for as well. Like the MLB offers a grant, so I will start looking into writing grants for those programs as well, especially with like Major League Soccer. There's so many different sports grants out there that are willing to invest in fields.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any questions on that? If she asked you for a letter, please write that. Because those letters go a long ways in what GoCo looks at, reference letters and stuff like that. So if you were asked to write a letter, please get that done.
Yes, I asked a lot of coaches, all of the faculty or admin at the school district. So I've gotten one from the superintendent, the sports athletics director, the baseball coach, a bunch of my baseball coaches that play rec. So yeah, we'll have a good chunk of letters to provide in that.
Okay.
And as you get those bids, obviously send them.
Yeah.
So we can make sure that we can cover whatever percentage we decide on,
Absolutely.
whether we want to leverage, how much we want to leverage of that 1% capital sales improvement tax fund. So,
Absolutely.
okay.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any updates or other items part of the work session? Or do we just go into the meeting? Are you good?
I'm good. I can, we check on with Lorraine. She was gonna do some things for us. I can go check with her and see if she's ready to go.
In the work session?
No, for the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go to the next meeting then.
Okay.
All right. The time is now 7:18 and the Town of Wiggins Board of Trustees work session is now adjourned. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. Time is now 7:19 and the Town of Wiggins Board of Trustees meeting is now in session. All right, Steve, you can do the Pledge of Allegiance now. You can stand up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Klecka,
Here.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Here.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Here.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Here.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Here. All right, next up is approval of agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Perot, seconded by Trustee Miller. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Klecka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, the agenda has been approved. All right, next up is approval of consent agenda, approval of minutes from special board meeting held November 12th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, approval of minutes from the special board meeting held on November 12th, 2025.
I second that.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Perot, seconded by Trustee McKeegan. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Klecka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, consent agenda has been approved. All right, next up is reports, town staff report.
Just the usual, went to Morgan County Housing Action Team meeting and discussed, our project, our pending project, Aspen Grove with the Mark Carnes construction, and they're excited about that and hopefully that, we can get maybe get him some grants involved in that. So they're working with us on looking at some grants. Morgan County Economic Development Corporation meeting. Again, I mentioned this last month that they don't think that the grant's going to go through for retail strategies. I did send out a webinar. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at that webinar that talked about retail strategies, what they do. And I reached out to Lacey, and she's going to also send out some additional updated information. The pricing is still the same. So if we want to move forward, I recommend we do that and be prepared to do that in January, the next meeting.
Yeah.
And then a big thanks again to staff and the board for their efforts with the Old Town Christmas. It was a great event. Heard nothing but good stuff from citizens so far. So appreciate your involvement and the staff's hard work on that.
You did it.
Too
You're in charge
much
of-
meat in the soup.
You're in charge of it. All right. Any other town staff?
I have nothing for admin, Bo.
Just a couple items for year end. We got notification at the beginning of the week that our vault is ready to ship. All we have to do is decide how we're going to unload it and where we're going to place it until Jess Excavation can put it in. It weighs 10 tons. So we're going to have them ship it here, and then we'll have it unloaded, we think, right in the location where we're going to put it, but I need to clear that with Blue Lightning. The heater for the pavilion building, the heater was hung and the vent piping was installed today. And we did get the proposal from Excel for the meter installation. I just need to review that and give that off to Craig for approval. And that was for installing a gas line from 5th and High down to 5th and Becky, providing gas service to the pavilion building, to the old booster station building, to a future concession stand restroom building that Chris has asked me to look into, as well as a potential gas tie-off for a future booster station building if we get another booster station tank. We got the results back from our water tank inspections that were done this fall, and we will be providing that information to the council. The tanks at the RO passed more or less with flying colors. The tank at the booster station, which is now going on 40+ years old, does have some concerns on the inside. We knew that that was the case, but we wanted to get the documentation of that. So we'll be providing that to you as well. The drain pans across Emerald and across Third and Agate are in. We're just letting them cure for a few more days before they remove the concrete blankets. They are doing some of the catch basins, some for the storm drainage that had been planned all along, whether or not you approve the cottages at Aspen Grove or not, we had planned on putting that drain pan over and some catch basins and a storm drain culvert across the Cottage Grove property. That pipe is about 4 weeks out. So we got that coming. And then with regard to things that are rolling into next year, had a conversation with Darren Nebb. He's been out of commission with some health issues for quite a little bit of time. He is getting the revisions to the contract because I know that some of the council members had had discussions with him about soil stabilizer and some other issues. So I asked him to attach that as a exhibit A to the contract. We're going to keep the contract the same as what we had discussed with him. And then he was going to put the other items on as potential adders because since Fourth Avenue and Third Avenue and Chapman have been a road for going on 50+ years. I don't know that we need the soil stabilizer, but we were going to come back to you guys and see what you wanted us to do because that road is pretty good and hard packed. So they should just be able to strip the old asphalt off and put in a layer of road base for the subgrade and then do the asphalt over the top of that. And I've asked him to commit to a start date. He said he would go ahead and make March 1st as the start date pending frost or weather.
What does that look like though for the school being in session, since that's a one-way going out of there?
Well, what we're talking about is getting like the sidewalk and that kind of stuff done, Chris, during that initial time. And then when school is out, they'll do the road.
Okay.
Cause
And I'm
obviously-
fine if he wants to do it all in one shot, that's fine. But if he wants to do sidewalk and then wait 2 months and come back,
Right.
then by all means, but I think if it's easier just to do it in one shot, I think that's what we need to do,
Okay.
because it would just be less headache, I think.
Well, and again, we can coordinate that with the school. And I think I've had the discussions with you, Chris. The school is so pleased with the non-pot performance and what they're able to do this summer. They've asked us to provide non-pot to the north playground at their cost and to the south playground at their cost. In other words, when I say the north playground, I'm talking about basically the area where the kids play north of the new elementary that used to be
Mhm.
the old practice field.
Yeah.
They wanted everything on non-pot because they were
How
very
are-
happy.
Where do they have to go to get that non-pot over there?
We have to bring the line basically down Fourth from where we stopped at Fourth and Johnson
Uh-huh.
at the corner of Stan Baumgartner's
Yep.
house and come down Fourth Avenue and bring it to the west side of what was the old high school. And it's now where the maintenance building is.
Mhm.
So that will get them if we get water there, that will get them all the water they need for the remainder of the grassy areas that are not covered and that north area. And to get water to the south playground, we have to come across from Sixth and Main and just go across Tiger Way. So we'd have a bore going across Tiger Way and then it would go to the south playground and also to the elementary school grass.
Well, so if that's the case, that line needs to be put in before we do any road work.
That's correct.
Oh, yeah.
And that was
Because
again,
if
the
we don't-
discussion
if-
I'll be having with.
Yeah, if
Craig.
we do the road work, that line's not getting put in.
Exactly. And
That's
again, we've
point
looked
blank.
also that we can go in the right of way along the north side of Fourth Avenue.
We gotta pay to put the water line in.
No, the school is willing to pay for the whole thing.
They'll pay for
Right.
everything.
Mhm.
I would like them to manage it too. Cause I don't, like, we need to do a few things, but as a town, that should be solely their project.
Okay, well, the only involvement that I'd like to make sure that we're involved in is when they do the tie.
Tie-ins, that's all we should be doing. Yeah, they need to man that whole project.
Okay.
Mhm.
Very good.
Did we get a price on that XL gas line?
Yes, it's in the information that I got. I just need to get that off to Craig.
Cause did we budget that?
Did you remember what it was?
No, I haven't actually, honestly, have not had a chance to look at it. We just got it the day before the Christmas event, so. And I've been trying to tie up the loose ends on a number of other things, even though I'm off this week.
Cause did we put that in the budget
I
somewhere
thought we talked about it and
You did.
yeah, I believe we did.
for 26?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've got it in for 26. And one other item I was thinking about is the water supply to Brady Powers buildings.
Uh-huh.
Some circumstances have changed, so we do need a CDOT right away. Have had conversations with Bruce Barnett, who will try and run that permit through quickly. It's normally a 2 to 3 month process, but the last time we had to get a permit, we got it in about 10 days. So we got the paperwork for that this afternoon, and we'll get that off to him tomorrow. And we're going to run a line from North Main at Central.
Yep.
And go across the front of Lara's property, in front of Gateway Realty property, in front of the Extreme Fabrication, and then to those 3 buildings.
Have we talked to Brady about paying half of that cost?
I have not yet. I don't know. We were originally going to be going farther to the north, but now that we're going to be going there, I just need to see if I have any difference in fittings and cost. But I've got all the material list together, and we already have the pipe came in last
Yeah.
week.
Are we getting the right of way, or is Brady getting that right of way?
We have to get the right of way because it's our water line.
Okay.
Any other questions for now?
I don't have any.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bo. All right. Board of Trustees have anything? I don't have anything. Just thanks everybody for everything they did for Old Town Christmas. Staff put a lot of time in. Trustees, thanks for serving. It went,
Cold chicken soup.
well, that's your fault. Should have been sampling it.
No, that,
Now it's your fault.
yeah, now it's my fault.
No. No, I think it went really well. So thank you guys for doing all that stuff. All right, approval of bills December 2025.
Are we caught up with Jones for the year?
Well, as far as the retention bond, the stuff that they're doing this week, we won't have the bill for yet, but we're caught up other than that.
What are they doing this week?
Putting a storm drain on Johnson, and then they're, hopefully if we don't run into weather, we're gonna be putting some of the culvert in where we dug it out. That's gonna be over on Agate and on Jasper. But the holes are already done.
Did we get a bid on that, Bo, or on the work he's doing now?
The work he's doing now is all half-day projects, one-day projects, and it's time and material, and he is the lowest time and material rate for his operators and for his equipment.
You know, one of these times we're gonna get popped. This town's gonna get popped because that's supposed to be a bid. You're supposed to have sealed bids. They come in, you read the bids. That's the way it's done. Water districts, towns do it. That is the proper way to do it.
And again, on the projects that we're involved in, as an example, with the sewer line, I've got 4 bidders doing that. And they've all been out with, Jones was the first one to come look at it. We've had Ed Nestor, Darren Nebb, and Jeremy Jess, all local Morgan County contractors, have looked at the sewer line project. A number of them looked at the water line, and they
So
weren't.
that'll be a
bidding.
sealed bid.
Well, we can go ahead and do a sealed bid. Typically what we do is we give them the scope of work, and then they provide us with the numbers. None of that information is shared with anybody. If you'd like, we can do a sealed bid.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the way to do it.
Okay.
One thing I will say is Jones is always cheaper.
By half or more.
Every bid we've ever got, Jones is way cheaper, and he's available like now. Some of these guys, they don't even bid because, yeah, they don't bid. So
What's the Rudenbeck restoration?
Met with Ed Nestor yesterday. Terry had been in contact with him about that. Ed was of the same opinion that I was, that we need to make sure that there's either a backwater valve or a 45-degree elbow coming off of that sewer main going to his property. I did, as you were probably aware, we did about 30% of our water, or I'm sorry, our sewer lines, having them jetted last month. And when they were over on the side of town by the school and the event center, when they were jetting the sewer line in the alley between Curry and Chapman,
Yes.
we did have some water that went back up into their house, and we had ServPro come out and quickly clean that up because that was as a result of our project. I do need to let you know that in the last 3 times we've done that, and in the last 10 years, we've never had an issue. We also had an issue at Steve's house that we haven't historically had. He was getting bubbling of the water in his toilet. So I don't know if they were doing something different with a different nozzle, but basically we called them off of it the minute that we got any notification there was a problem.
So is there any damage then, or?
There was just some wastewater that came up through the drain and got into the ceiling. It was a quick service by ServPro. They were there and in and out in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But the reason we chose that side of town was because of the previous issues that we had with the waste coming out of the event building that had caused a clog in that main before.
There ain't a belly in that pipe somewhere, is there?
No. And the main wastewater line for all of Kiowa Park and all of town actually is farther down that line at the corner of Third and the alley between Chapman and Curry. And then it runs down to the storage unit where the town's little stormwater retention pond is, and then goes under the railroad. And if you'll recall, we did the railroad about 2 years ago where we replaced that line, but we've never had any issues with water backing up. And anytime we've pulled the manholes or anytime we've scoped, the water is always flowing freely. And usually, Bruce, anytime we do have a minor issue with a sewer main, we'll get calls from several people if one of the lines in the alleys is starting to back up, because it doesn't affect just one person's house, it affects the whole block's house. And we've not had any issues in the last couple of years. And I did get permission from both Trustee Klecka and Terry to go ahead and have me go over and scope the laterals to make sure that there are no problems in the lines. But again, Ed Nestor's going to come over and address Terry's stuff. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
There's no other questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Motion has been made by Trustee Klecka, second, or motion has been made by Trustee Klecka, seconded by Trustee Miller. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Klecka,
Yes.
trustee Michael Saber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, bills 2025 have been approved. Next up is financials actual to budget. How are you?
No, you're okay. Thank you. Anymore.
We're a 6-man crew.
But as you know, I like to tout each time I'm here the importance of your fiduciary responsibilities. And part of that, I think, is reviewing the full financial statements of the town. I know that in some months or years, you've tended to just focus on the revenues and expenditures, which is normal. That is the budget you adopt, and you want to see if the revenues and expenditures are coming in. That's the income statement, what's happening during that year. And then, but there's also the balance sheet of what you've amassed or owe over all of time. And so we've prepared these financial statements that give you a few extra things. They include the balance sheets, so you know where you are at bottom line, not just how this year's revenues and expenditures came in, because they could come in a little bit high, but you might still be really close to the vest on what you've amassed over all time, and you want to be able to tell that. These also correspond more closely to what I talked about when we review the audit each year. And it also gives you an idea of where you are with cash, citywide, townwide. So because these are lengthy, what I've done is try to show how you can look through them in a few minutes. And that's why I wanted to meet with you tonight, in case any of you are unfamiliar with that method. I did go to the extent of highlighting key things, but unfortunately in the device of your system going to my laptop, going to your printer, it wouldn't print in color. So it's not going to stand out the way it usually would, but I think in the future I'll be sending them to Nicole, and she'll be able to get them to highlight and print in color, and even put a PDF in your packet. But starting on the first page, we have an odd page called Combined Cash. And this is what your bank accounts are for the main activity of the town, and where the balances were at the end of the month of October. It's only halfway through December now, and not even halfway. We haven't done November's yet. So at the end of October, in these four accounts that are listed there, you had $4,119,000. And as you know, at the bank, the money goes in to one total amount, one drawer, so to speak. When you make a deposit with your own check, they don't put it in a separate drawer for you. They keep track by accounting of whose money is where, how much of the total is each person's. And here in the financial system that you have, we keep track by fund. So the 4,119 at the top is shown down below as to which fund owns how much of it. So total combined is 4.1. Total combined on the bottom is 4.1, but it's allocated to the various funds that you have, and it's tracked separately to see how much is the general funds versus the water funds versus the sewer funds, et cetera. So I highlighted the allocation to the general fund is $1,681,000. If you go to the next page, now we're off of that combined cash page and we're in the general fund. And the very first line on each fund's balance sheet is their share of that combined cash. So I highlighted that also. It's the same $1,681,000. So what I would do if I were you and wanted to go through these quickly is I would look at the total cash. I would turn to the general fund and look at the cash there, that make sure it ties to what the share is for the general fund. And then down near the bottom of page 2, where it says fund balance, that's always the fund balance that you started the year with. You started the year or ended last year, 24, in an audited amount of $1,906,000 in your fund balance. The next highlighted number is the revenue over expenditures year to date this year. So you take what you started the year with, and then through October, you've added another $181,000 to give you total fund equity at the end of October of $2,088,000. So you just want to keep your eye on those figures. That's the balance sheet, what you've amassed over all of time. Then we get to essentially the income statement, which is what you've been looking at more often, and that's the revenues and expenditures. So the revenues, I've highlighted the biggest ones, so you can just glance at those. So these financial statements have a year-to-date actual through the same month of 23, through the same month of 24. What actually came in, where it says period actual, that's what came in just during October of 25. And then year to date is all of 25 through the date of the statements, the 10 months of through October 31st, compared to what the budget is for the year. And therefore that percentage column on the end shows what percent of your total budget you've received year to date. So on the first one that I highlighted, the current property tax, 2023, you got 520,000. 24, you got 727,000. This year to date, you've got an 869.11 through October, which is 97% of the amount you budgeted for the year. Usually you don't get much more property tax during the rest of the year. Most of it comes in February, April, and June. So that's good to see the percentage is already right near 100%. Your other town revenues come in more evenly. So the 1% sales tax, you've got 88% of that for the year compared to budget if you just look across to the percentage column. And down at the very bottom of the page, these reports always show the percent of the fiscal year that's elapsed. So you see down there in the footer, 83% of the year is elapsed. Your percentage you've received in sales tax for the year is 88. So you're ahead of the pace if you've got it evenly month by month.
So 2 questions, I guess. One on the use tax.
Mhm.
Why are we so far behind on that from what we budgeted?
That one varies a lot. That's what you get off of the building permits.
Okay.
It's hard to budget because you never know how many building permits are going to be pulled.
And what about the interest on savings? Did we move a lot of money out of savings to where we lost?
I don't
That
know
money?
the answer to that. I know that in 24, we started using those local government investment pools like Colo Trust to try to get some more. And you arranged something with your local bank for more swept money into higher interest, but it has dropped back to the same level as 23 this year. So I'm not sure why that is. We could look into that.
So okay, going back, sorry. You said that building inspections was under that use tax, but what is that building inspection plan review then?
So when someone pulls a building permit, there's a few different charges on it. One of them is for the plan review. One of them is for the building inspection
Oh.
itself. One of them is for the use tax on materials that are going into the project.
Makes sense.
So that gives you something to look at and to watch and to, kind of see how it's going. But looking over on page 4, the total for the whole fund is at 90% for the year and only 83% of the year has elapsed. So your revenues are coming in a little stronger than predicted through 10 months. Then you get into the expenditures where it says general government. And here I would just glance at the bottom lines of each of the departments. And if there's a reason to look up at the different line items, let's say it was woefully low or something, you'd want to look up and see what's happening here. But generally, if you're with around the 80%, you figure it's probably okay. And you can delve into any department you want. So I didn't highlight each department, but going all the way over to page 12, the bottom line for the whole town, you're at 75% of what was budgeted. So you're not going to run over your budget. You have various reasons as to why you're under budget here and there, but that's where I would start to say, okay, looks like we're good. We don't have a budget problem. Then the net revenues over expenditures. See how on the budget column, that very bottom line, the second from the right on page 12, you had budgeted to actually draw down the fund balance in 2025 because you budgeted that revenues would be under expenditures by 91,176. So there's a minus behind that. But so far you're ahead, 181,000. So it's stronger than had been forecast as far as increasing the bottom line instead of drawing down the fund balance. Now remember back in page 2, we saw your fund balance was $1.9 million, almost $1.2 million. And so you'd planned that to use it for a reason, but it looks like it may be going up instead of being drawn down. The rest of the book is similar, only it goes fund by fund. So general fund ends on page 12, water fund starts on page 13 in the same order. First, it has the balance sheet, which shows the assets and liabilities, which is what you've amassed over all time. Down at the bottom, it shows retained earnings. And on the next page, it shows your revenues over expenditures year to date. And so your retained earnings, total fund equity has gone up to 7.6 million. So that's good. Your cash isn't much of that. Most of it's the buildings on page 13. 5 million in water rights, 7 million in plant and equipment minus depreciation. So for operating money, you can't be using the value of those big assets. But it does show you've got good fund equity and you have $500,000 in cash at the end of October. And the same would be looking at the expenditures on page 17 for the water fund. Those bottom lines, your total fund expenditures are only at 48% of what you budgeted. You probably had some big capital projects or loan repayments that you didn't have to do yet that aren't yet reflected, but you don't have a budget issue, and your net revenues over expenditures are at about 90% of budget already. Sewer fund, page 18. Cash is good, 1,000,003. Fund equity is good, 3.9 million. On page 19, your revenues. And I highlighted again, the major revenues is the sewer sales, that you bill people for. There's other little things that come in here and there. But that's at 61%. So that is lower than you might expect, but it's because of the interest again for total revenues. The sewer sales are right on target for 83% of the year having elapsed. The next pages of 20 and 21 are the individual line items for the whole fund, and page 22 shows your total expenditures are at 74%, and your revenues over expenditures are at 26% of what you forecast. I didn't highlight all the cash in each of these other funds, but I did highlight the fund balances. So as you might remember, the sales tax capital improvement fund started out having drawn down its fund balance into the negative, but you've already replenished that and you're in the black again with the fund equity of 50 grand. So that's good. Revenues on the next page are at 118% of budget, and your expenditures are at 93%. And then you've got two other smaller funds, the sales tax streets fund. It's started the year with 313,000 in fund balance, and it's already up to 511,000 at this time after October. Revenues are right on target at about 84%. And expenditures are much lower than had been anticipated because certain capital projects that were anticipated aren't showing any expenditures.
Correct.
So that's probably what you would expect. And then the last one is your little conservation trust fund. That's the state lottery revenues that are shared with municipalities. And it's got about 22,000 in it, most of which is cash and, well, no, that's total assets.
Yeah.
You're building that up to use in the future. Actually, you bring that down each year. I'm sorry, most of my clients do the other way. You have a fund balance of 26. You've drawn down some of that this year, 12,942 so far, and you still have fund equity of 13,000. This revenue comes in quarterly. So at the end of October, you had 3 quarters of it. You'll get one more payment, which I believe I saw just came in this month around the 8th. And then you have your expenditures budgeted on page 31. And you're essentially drawn down a little bit more than you anticipated, but you do have one more revenue to come in. That's what I wanted to cover with you. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I hope if we start putting these in your packets each month, that you'll start to like them and feel like they give you the information you want.
Do you have any suggestions of how we can make this better?
These reports, I like them the way they are. I already did change them from what was in the system as just like the generic package by adding those.
How the town
Can make, well, in general, I always say to look at all of your revenue rate schedules every single year. And even things like a permit fee or dog license or whatever, and tie them to some kind of indicator like the inflation rate. Don't just still have the dog license if you had one at the same rate it was 10 or 15 years ago. And don't have to be thinking about it. Just each year, if you pass a resolution that these are going to be tied to the cost of living, then we'll just do the math and get those new rates in there at the beginning of each year. So those are generally minor things, but on building inspection or I don't know, certain things, it may be more significant. But the main thing is your water and sewer rates. To look at those every year. Those are a necessity people have to have. They should come first in their budgets. They need to be paying for what it costs to run that operation and to put aside money to make major replacements or replace the whole plants when they're needed to be replaced after they run their useful lives. Don't fall prey, to the pressure. I know there's always pressure on boards to not raise rates, but
Well, they was so low for so long
Mhm.
that we're still trying to catch up.
Yep. And if you do it every year, you don't get that. You get a moderate increase each year instead of a gigantic one when you finally turn your sights on it.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve financials to budget actual.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Perot, seconded by Trustee McKeegan. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Kleka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Chris Franzen.
Yes, financials, actual, the budget have been approved. All right, next up is the public comment section. The Board of Trustees welcomes you and thanks you for your time. If you wish to address the board about a specific concern or comment on an item, this is only a time set aside for you to do so. We ask that you be respectful and courteous when addressing the board. When you are recognized, please step to the mic, state your name and address. The board may limit your comments to 3 minutes. The board may not respond to your comments this evening and may take those comments and suggestions under advisement to the appropriate member of town staff for follow-up. Is there any public comment?
There is no one in person nor online.
All right, with that being said, the public comment section is now closed. Can we move up the swearing in of the judge so she don't have to wait till the end?
I don't see a reason why not.
Yeah, you can jump to resolution 37.
Okay, perfect. All right, first up is consideration of resolution 37-2025, a resolution approving an agreement for municipal court judge services.
So we have the open position for the municipal court judge here back in October, November. We held a few different interviews, and the board had selected and reached out to Crea Sledge, who is here before us, and she accepted our offer that we made her. So if you would like to approve that resolution, the agreement is in the packet. Melinda had created it. Crea has already signed it. So it is up in front of you guys for approval.
You guys have any questions on that?
No.
Okay.
I make the motion to adopt resolution 37-2025, a resolution approving an agreement for municipal court judge services.
Second.
Motion has been made by Trustee Miller, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Perot. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Kleka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, resolution 37-2025 has now been approved. All right, next up is appointment of municipal court judge.
Your right hand. I, Crea Sledge, do solemnly swear and affirm
I, Crea Sledge, do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the constitutions and laws of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Colorado and the ordinances of the town of Wigan,
and of the state of Colorado and the ordinances of the town of Wigan,
and shall faithfully perform to the best of my ability
and shall faithfully perform to the best of my abilities
the duties of my appointment as a municipal court judge
the duties of my appointment as a municipal court judge
for the town of Wigan.
for the town of Wiggins.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Our first municipal court that we will have with Crea is on January 16th. And we will proceed forward from there.
Perfect.
We look forward to having you.
You're welcome to stick around. We might be
The
here
Rip roaring good time around here, let me tell you.
about to talk about budget for a while. It's almost past.
Me
my
too.
time,
Yeah,
so-
me too.
Same.
In all fairness.
Perfect. Awesome.
Right.
Great.
Thank you. Drive safe.
Drive safe.
You too. All right. Next up is budget review. Lorraine, you're up again.
Well, as you know, it's budget time and it's coming to an end, hopefully tonight. So I know Craig and the staff and your department heads have been working on this since late summer. And you've had the proposed budget since October, probably talked about it. There've been a few changes, but you have in front of you the final version, which of course you still have the opportunity to change if you wish. But we think it's probably where you want it at this point in time. And if you just look through it, it tells you fund by fund, similar to the ones we just went over, what the revenues and expenditures are proposed for the coming year. It also shows you those 2 years of actual, 23 and 24, shows you the current year's budget and what we are estimating the actual will be once this year is over. And then what the proposal is for the next year. So in your packet, you've got 3 different resolutions. And I don't know if they're in a certain order that I should go through, but the budget one is to adopt this budget and to appropriate the money to spend. So first you adopt the budget, which is a plan. It's not a promise, but that's your plan. None of these numbers will probably be exactly what are forecast today, but that's the plan is how they should come in. And you can see they're pretty steady in many cases from year to year. And then you have to appropriate the money to spend because to give authorization to the departments to have these budgets and to spend the money that's shown in them for the expenditures. So that's what your first resolution would be, is to adopt the 2026 budget as proposed. If you would like, I can walk through the various pages. I don't know that it's changed too much, but I can
So
do that.
I have a question. For 2025 current property tax, you have it at 727, but in the actual budget for this year, it's at like 680, I think, or whatever it was. And you said we're not going to get any more money out of that. So why is this one's showing 727 and the other one's showing 680?
The one that we were just looking at was through October, and we probably won't get too much more. This is what we put together in October as a forecast. It doesn't have to be exact of what it's going to be, and we don't have to change them to what we know as new information comes in unless it's significant. So that's why there's that slight discrepancy there.
Okay.
The
I
revenue.
guess the only reason I ask is because that's with the mill levy reduction. That's the proposed for 2026 is what the ultimate side effect will be of that.
Oh, so under the proposed column, see where it says 569,700?
532, 500?
Is that the new ones?
She did, yes.
Yep. You have emailed uh, a new updated with reducing the mill levy. We had to change some numbers in resolution 32 and 34. And then that also changed that first number, I believe, on the 2026 budget. So I emailed you an updated resolution 32, 34, and 2026 proposed budget right before the meeting started.
The
So-
county assessor sends out certified amounts of the valuation. And they send out initial guesses, so to speak, initial assessments in August. And then people have the chance to contest those or argue them. And then they send out the final ones much later, closer to the time that you have to adopt your budget. And so the original budget had the amounts in there, I think, that were from the original estimate that comes from the Morgan County Assessor. This proposed budget includes, with the new numbers, the actual final assessed valuation for the town for the year and the amount of the mill levy. You might be aware that the state legislator and the governor entered into the discussion about how much property taxes cities and towns should collect last year. And they passed a bill, a Senate bill, to restrict the amount of increase that any town can have year over year unless they have an election to specifically change that. And so we've been talking with Melinda since Monday on how that's going to impact your town. She and Craig looked at that math yesterday, and she drew up these resolutions that show the exact change and the reduction in the mill levy to not only attend to your slight amount of revenue that was forecast to be over this 5.25% cap that the legislature put on you, but also to reduce it because you had talked about wanting to reduce it. And that's why this number changed between the original proposed budget from October and now, and just that is the last number that's changed in here.
So it's really, so based on the estimated actual for 2025 is 727 to what's proposed for next year, we're reducing it by what, 20%?
14. Looks possibly, yeah, you wanted to have a reduction.
Yeah, we're going to 24 mil.
And that new mill levy resolution, we can talk about that at the same time, shows on there what it would have been at the old mill levy rate minus this temporary one-time reduction, and then what it will be now based on the final certified values from Morgan County, and it comes up with the 569,700. $569,780.
Yeah. In all honesty, that number's probably going to go up because the state already said that they're going to increase property taxes next year. They put it in their budget. So that number will look higher than that.
I don't know, the state collect property taxes itself? I know the county does, and the school districts do, and the towns and cities.
Well, I guess for the mill, no, it wouldn't reference that. That would be just for the county.
The county may, yeah, this is just the town's mill levy and what this town will get.
Yeah.
But property owners will pay more than just your mill levy. They'll pay yours and the county's and the school districts.
The whole counties.
And any bond issues that are passed, that type of thing. So going on through the revenues, when you go down lower on that page, that first page, it shows total general fund revenues. Would be 1,000,007. And expenditures would be 1,000,005. And so you're going to be adding to your fund balance during the year, even with the reduced mill levy. So fund balance is estimated to be around 2,000,002 at the end of this year and to be around 2,000,004 at the end of next year. And all the departments line items are pretty similar to what you've seen before, but those totals are rolled up on that page too, department by department for expenditures. Then if you go to page 14 of the budget, that's the Conservation Trust Fund. And again, across the top, you show what the beginning fund balances were amassed over all time for each of these years. For 23, went up at the end of 23 to start 24 with 56. You budgeted to have a lower one in 25, and you actually started the year with 26,000, and you're proposing to end 26 with very little, and you're proposing to use all of that during 2026 for town park improvements and bleacher shades.
It's taken a minute to load.
And just pull it. You can unplug it.
I have you muted.
Okay.
The sales tax capital improvement fund, well, we project starting 2026 with about 112,000 and ending with about 272,000. So that one would be going up, and those fund balances could be used in future years' projects.
And that's, if you notice there, third from the bottom, under expenditures, we have, or fourth from the bottom, we have the Teats line, gas and electric.
Do we know,
15.
but we don't even know what that price came.
We don't know what that price is.
So if it's 100,000, then
Yeah, I haven't seen, Bo, do you remember what the number was on the gas line?
he didn't look at it.
Okay.
Now, you also have the capability, if something unexpected happens and that project costs a lot more, you can do a supplemental appropriation later. But as of now, adopting the initial budget for 2025, that was the forecast at the time this was put together.
And we can also look at using the water enterprise fund because it's part of that gas line is going to be used for the booster station.
Moving to page 16 for the street sales tax fund. Here you're starting the year with about 700,000, adding 500,000 from revenues, and planning expenditures for 785,000 and ending the year with about 432,000. And so those are the capital projects you've been discussing.
So we've used 30,000 in snow removal this year. That can't be
We haven't
right.
used any.
No, that doesn't
No.
mean what we've used to date. That's the estimated actual. So we wanted to make sure there was enough there in case you had a very rough December, which it doesn't look like you have or will.
Okay.
So the estimated actual won't be exactly 73,280. No one knows yet. But hope if it's much less, then your fund balance will go up and be higher than 710,000 at the end of the year. Page 17 is your water enterprise fund. Here it looks like you'll be starting the year with about 3.5 million in available cash and receivables and other liquid assets. You're expected to get more revenue next year. So looking across that second line under revenues, the water sales, that's good. Those revenues are expected to go up based on increased rates. And then you also are anticipating some significant tap fees from development. That's the 840,000. And of course, if that doesn't happen, then you won't be getting that much. But assuming it will, you'd be anticipating revenues over 2 million for 2026. And expenditures are, the total is on the page 19 of 1,000,007, and increasing your ending funds available by a significant amount during that year. It still shows some big projects, including the augmentation pond.
Cause we allocated 500,000 for that.
Yes.
Since we're on the topic of water, when we sell the Knievel house in 2 weeks, where is that money gonna go?
And that will go in the revenue for the fund that owns it. That's a water-owned property. Whichever fund bought it,
I believe you said it was under the sewer fund.
okay, so that'll go in the sewer fund. Whichever fund bought it will get the sale proceeds from selling it.
Do we have a way to move that to the water fund? Cause I wanted to use that money to dig the ponds, the retention ponds.
You'd have to do a transfer from one fund to the other. And that is allowed.
Okay.
You have to be careful whenever you transfer money into an enterprise fund that you don't make it lose its enterprise status for Tabor purposes. So if you're going to borrow, if you want to issue any debt under the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, you have to have an election unless you're an enterprise fund. And being an enterprise fund in actuality isn't enough. You have to meet the Tabor definition of enterprise, which means no more than 10% of your revenues come from outside sources, state or other governmental. But
Mhm.
federal is exempt from that, but state or local. So if the general fund puts money in or the sewer fund puts money in, then the water fund has to calculate what percent of its revenues came from those outside sources. And if it's more than 10%, then the water fund for that year cannot issue debt without an election because it's lost Tabor enterprise status.
Okay.
But generally, yes, you can transfer money.
Even with that project, you'll notice that the ending funds are going to increase $500,000 from 3.6 to 4 million.
Well, we don't have where's the sewer pond or retention ponds at?
The sewer is going to be on the next pages.
Well, no, just the 500,000 that was budgeted for the retention ponds.
For the augmentation pond,
Yeah.
it's up under capital outlay. 2432.90.
Page 19.
Okay.
So let's go on to this sewer activity enterprise, and that's page 20. And I have to say as an aside, Mayor, occasionally water and sewer funds in the municipal code are written as one fund. And if that's the case, then for those Tabor enterprise rules, we wouldn't have a problem if it transferred from one to the other because it's just in its own one fund legally. For tracking purposes in accounting, we separate them to see if each one is paying its own way. And that may be the case here, that they're written as a joint, as a water and sewer fund.
We'll look into that.
Okay. So on page 20 of the sewer enterprise fund, beginning fund is available of 2.6 million. Again, a lot of the new revenues coming in are from hoped for tap fees. And then you see the sale of assets there and the estimated actual of 475,000. That pertains to any property and other equipment that may be sold as far as what the estimate was at the time the budget was put together. If it doesn't happen in 25, then it'll go in 26 when it happens.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
And if it's not that exact amount, the real amount will go in.
Okay.
And then the expenditures, again, let's go to the bottom line on page 22. total expenditures are anticipated to be about 540,000. There's a little bit of capital shown there at the top of that page. And let's look at the bottom of the page before, no, that's operations. So 60,000 is budgeted for line improvements.
For sewer,
Mhm.
did we put in the budget to up the size of the water line on Agate and those streets over there?
I believe so, yeah. Let me double check.
Is it in our line maintenance or something?
Likely.
So you got 52,000 in line maintenance.
And
Okay.
that's likely it because it's much more than usual.
Well, we spent 36,000 this year. I don't know what that was for. Yeah, we should be able to do that for 52,000.
Any any more questions on any of the funds?
Nope.
Okay, then you'll want to look at your resolution to adopt this budget and to appropriate the funds to spend these total amounts by fund that we went through. And you'll want to adopt the mill levy resolution, which declares what your mill levy will be for next year with the reduction in the rate. It's shown as a temporary one-time reduction. Again, with that taxpayer bill of rights, once you reduce a rate, you can't raise it again without an election. But if it's just a temporary one-time reduction that gets around that, and it's been used by many cities and towns, it's a tried and true way.
Can we temporarily do it the following year too?
Yep, you can temporarily
Okay.
do it as long as you want.
All right.
As far as I know, unless there's been some new case law or something on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the budget? All right. All right, next up will be the public hearing for the 2026 Town of Wiggins budget. Is there any public comment?
Not in person nor online.
Okay. All right, next up is consideration of resolution 32-2025. A resolution summarizing expenditures and revenues for each fund and adopting a budget for the town of Wiggins, Colorado for the calendar year beginning January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2026.
So moved.
Use Bruce's.
He's got a second. Bruce, you said you'd second it.
I haven't even heard it read yet. You read it and I'll so move.
I guess Steve.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 32-2025, a resolution summarizing expenditures and revenues for each fund and adopting a budget for the town of Wiggins, Colorado for the calendar year beginning January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Perot, seconded by Trustee Miller. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Kleka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Seymour,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Perot,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan.
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, resolution 32-2025 has now been approved. Thank you guys for doing all that budget fun stuff.
Yeah.
Next up is consideration of resolution 33-2025, a resolution approving sums of money to the various funds and spending agencies in the amounts and for the purposes set forth below for the town of Wiggins, Colorado for the 2026 budget.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 33-2025, a resolution appropriating sums of money to the various funds and spending agencies in the amounts and for the purposes set forth below for the town of Wiggins, Colorado for the 2026 budget year.
I second that.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Burrow, seconded by Trustee McKeegan. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Kleka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, Resolution 33-2025 has now been approved. All right, next up is consideration of Resolution 34-2025, a resolution levying general property taxes for the year 2025 to help defray the cost of government for the town of Wiggins, Colorado for the 2026 budget year.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 34-2025, a resolution levying general property taxes for the year 2025 to help defray the costs of government for the town of Wiggins, Colorado for the 2026 budget year.
I second that.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Burrow, seconded by Trustee McKeegan. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Kleka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, okay. Resolution 34-2025 has now been approved. All right, next up is consideration of Resolution 35-2025, a resolution certifying compliance with Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution. Yeah.
Is that considered Article X or Article 10?
Article 10, yeah, which is the proper.
Article 10.
Yes.
I like X better. My Roman numerals.
From-
Article 10,
Okay.
Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 35-2025, a resolution certifying compliance with Article 10, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Burrow, seconded by Trustee Miller. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Kleka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes. Resolution 36-2020 or 35-2025 has now been approved. Next up is consideration of Resolution 36-2025, a resolution creating a non-emergency reserve for the town of Wiggins, Colorado.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 36-2025, a resolution creating a non-emergency reserve for the town of Wiggins, Colorado.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Burrow, seconded by Trustee Kleka. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Kleka,
Yes.
Trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Robert McKeegan,
Yes.
Chris Franzen.
Yes, Resolution 36-2025 has now been approved. Next up is consideration of Ordinance 11-2025, an ordinance repealing Section 130.01 of the Wiggins Municipal Code regarding railroads impeding traffic.
And I think it was October, I believe, I brought to you to update the fee schedule. After we, and including one of those fees was the railroad, impeding traffic. After we had that meeting, someone had contacted our chief of police, and stated, he thought that had been repealed, at the state level, prior, in years past.
Mm.
And so we reached out to Melinda, and Melinda did some digging, and she confirmed, yes, that there has been court up at the state level repealing ordinances as such. And so just as a housekeeping item to update our ordinances and keep them current, I'm bringing forth to you to repeal this section of our ordinance.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 11-2025, an ordinance repealing section 130-01 of the Wiggins Municipal Code regarding railroads impeding traffic.
Second.
Motion has been made by trustee Miller, seconded by Mayor Pro Tempore. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stephen Kleka,
Yes.
trustee Michael Sieber,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Pro,
Yes.
trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes,
trustee Robert McKeegan.
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, ordinance 11-2025 has now been approved. All right, next up is appointment of town clerk treasurer.
Once I had sent this out to Melinda, she said per statute, her and myself only need to be appointed every 2 years after an election, within 30 days from that election. So we don't have to do this again until 2026, I guess. We did it in 2023.
We do it
did
every
in
year.
2024, yeah, so. uh, So,
Yes, you
she
can.
said to remove those from the from the agenda.
Sweet. All right, any closing remarks, comments, questions, concerns?
something I had, Chris, on that, when we made the motion for the mill levy change, should have we put in there what the mill levy change was?
It's in there. It's going to 24. It's in the ordinance.
Right, I've read it, but we didn't make it in the motion.
No, it's public though. Like it's
Okay.
out.
It's part of the
It's
resolution,
part of it's going to 24.159.
and it'll be part of our filing with the paperwork when we send it to the county.
So it's getting reduced by just over 8 mil. Because we're at 32 point something now, and we're going to 24 point something. So about just over 8 mil.
It's 25% mill reduction.
Yeah. Hey,
Every little bit counts.
Sure does.
the people voted it in at the 32 mil. So I know that was a while ago. It was like in 97,
Oh, for real?
92 maybe.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I think it said 1992. It got voted in. I was still in diapers, I think. Just kidding.
One of our old mayors, and this is years ago, this is back in the 90s. He said, Wiggins has got the highest mill levy in Morgan County.
Oh, we do. We will have the highest mill levy until we get under 13 mil. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? Just want to wish every one of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thanks, board. Thanks for your work this year.
Yeah, our first meeting won't be until, our next meeting will be in January, so. Yes, thank you guys for everything you've done this year. It's greatly appreciated. All right, time is now 8:32 and the Board of Trustees meeting is now adjourned.